Today on Public Eye News, Biden makes a big investment in the nation's infrastructure. And later, Arizona's legislature erupts into chaos as Republicans deny a repeal of the state's abortion ban.
Nate Diamond will have your weather forecast for the next couple of days, and later, Austin Graham will bring you today's sports update. I'm Bianca Kroll.
And I'm Liam Muhlenjoy, and this is Public Eye News. The Biden administration has awarded $830 million in grants to fund 80 projects aimed at strengthening the nation's infrastructure against climate change. The money will flow into bridges, roads, ports, transit systems, and other infrastructure. It will reach 37 states, Washington, D.C., and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The money aims to help regions that are regularly damaged by increasingly frequent extreme weather events. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg said America's infrastructure was not built for the climate that we have today, and the consequences of this are being felt by people in every part of the country. According to other sources in the department, funds come from the bipartisan infrastructure law passed in 2021. They add to other funding already flowing to states for similar projects. And Wisconsin's Bipartisan Election Commission is expected to vote today on the subject of multiple attempts to recall longtime State Assembly Speaker Robin Vos. Trump supporters are responsible for these recall efforts, having fallen out with Vos over his refusal to decertify the 2020 election results in Wisconsin. But the campaign seems unlikely to succeed at this stage, as staff at the Wisconsin Elections Commission recommended Wednesday that petitions seeking a recall vote be rejected. Their reasoning? Not enough signatures. However, Vos is not out of the woods yet. Recall organizers filed a second round of paperwork seeking to recall the speaker last month, anticipating that their first batch would be rejected for lack of support. This second round of paperwork has not yet been submitted.
The Energy Unit of the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, otherwise known as EGLE, is offering grants to help communities roadblocks to clean energy access. The funding is at least $320,000 that is expected to be available through the Michigan Solar Communities and Michigan Solar Access Program. The average individual grants awards are from $80,000 to $100,000. The Michigan Solar Communities Program is providing Michigan residents with information with technical assistance and programs to obtain solar within their community. With the solar panels that the community receives, subscribers receive credits on their electric bills for the energy they use. EGLE has published a request for proposals, online application, and simple grant agreement for the Michigan Solar Access Grant Program that will be available for many to use. And two brothers from Nigeria have pleaded guilty to sexually extorting teenage boys and young men in Michigan and across the country, which involved one who took his own life. Samuel Agoshi, 22, and Samson Agoshi, 20, of Lagos, Nigeria, pleaded guilty to conspiring to sexually exploit teenage boys, said U.S. Attorney Mark Totten. The brothers were accused of running an international extortion ring where they posed as women online. Said interactions resulted in suicide of 17-year-old Jordan DeMay from Marquette, Michigan. The two men were accused of inciting DeMay into sending pictures of himself and then extorting him. The brothers were remanded to the custody of federal marshals after pleading guilty and will stand trial. Jennifer Buddha, the mother of Jordan DeMay, said that she had a confident feeling that they would find who did this to Jordan. Totten said that he hopes this is sending messages to criminals in Nigeria and to others of the globe. Social media is a concern for parents of young ones across the country. Some state governments are beginning to address the problem. One Minnesota doctor has a few recommendations. Jeff Wagner has more. Take a look.
Having a drink, driving a car, all are well known for their legal age restrictions. Social media is a bit more of the Wild West.
It's done. There you go.
And Florida's governor is trying to rein it in. The state's new law bans children under 14 years old from social media. Kids 14 to 15 need parental consent. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok would also be required to close accounts that don't meet the age restrictions.
14 is what was recommended as a healthy place to start.
Sarah Jerstad is the clinical director of psychological services at Children's Minnesota and got the 14-year-old recommendation from a study done by the Surgeon General.
It has to do with brain development. So what we know is at age 14, we're able to start that process of reasoning.
She says 14-year-olds also better prioritize how they spend their time and hopefully have established hobbies or relationships.
Because one of the concerns is that if social media becomes prominent so early, it might displace some of those other healthy activities.
In that Surgeon General's study, teenagers reported spending an average of 3.5 hours on social media a day.
Do you think we should leave it up to the government or it should be up to parents?
I'm not sure. I don't mind too much government guidance.
Guidance.
Guidance, not necessarily
Mandates.
However age restrictions are determined, Dr. Jerstad says parents should set a good example for their children and put the phone down and do activities together without devices. Jeff Wagner, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your weather and national news after this break. Stay tuned.
Benvenuti a casa mia. I am excited to welcome you back to my home, right here in my kitchen where it all started. So, pull up a chair. Your family is going to love it. And cook along with me as I share meals and memories from my table on this season of Lydia's Kitchen. Would you come to my house for dinner? Tutti a tavola, a mangiare.
Today at 4:30.
Welcome back. I'm Nate Diamond. This is your Public Eye weather forecast. Taking a look at our roof cam, we can see that the clouds are covering the sky, and there's grass is growing, but it's still a lot of clouds. Taking a look at around the roof cam, or around the UP. Up in Houghton, we got 55 and some rain. Over on the west side in Ironwood, the only sun at 53. In Iron Mountain, 55 with some more rain. Down in Menominee, 47 and some more rain. Over in Escanaba, we got 59 and partly sunny skies. Over in Manistee, we have some cloudy skies and 52 degrees. In Sault Ste. Marie, 56 and cloudy. And back in our lovely Marquette, it's 50 degrees and cloudy, with winds north at 8 miles an hour and a barometric pressure of 29.65 inches and falling. And taking a look onto tonight, we're going to see some more clouds, a low of 40, and winds north-northwest at 21 miles an hour. And taking a look onto tomorrow, we're going to be expecting some rain showers, a high temperature of 47, a low of 36, and some pretty strong winds north-northwest at 27 miles an hour. And onto this weekend, partly cloudy skies the whole weekend into Monday. On Saturday, a high of 50, a low of 38. And on Sunday, another high of 50 and a low of 39. And finally on Monday, a high of 54 and a low of 43. And that's all I have for your weather. Back to the desk with a couple more stories.
Well, thank you very much for that weather update, Nate. Now moving on to some national news. A floor session of the Arizona legislature broke out into chaos Wednesday when the state's newly revived 1864 abortion ban came up. The law criminalizes abortion throughout pregnancy unless the woman's life is at risk. The Arizona Supreme Court paved the way for the law to be enforced on Tuesday. Democrats and some Republicans, including former President Donald Trump, have called on state legislators to intervene in response. At the floor session, House Democrats and at least one Republican tried to open discussion on a repeal of the ban. However, Republican majority leaders cut it off twice before quickly adjourning for the week. This caused outraged Democrats to break out into chants shouting the word shame. The GOP-led Senate briefly convened without debate on abortion. And a federal appeals court will hear arguments today over Arkansas's ban on gender-affirming care for minors. Arkansas is appealing a federal judge's ruling last year that struck down the ban as unconstitutional. The ban prohibits doctors from providing gender-affirming hormone treatment, puberty blockers, or surgery to anyone under 18. The American Civil Liberties Union has challenged the law on behalf of 4 transgender youths and their parents, saying it infringes on parents' rights to make decisions about their children's medical care. The arguments today represent a new phase of the fight over restrictions on transgender youth. The case is going before the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, though it's unclear when the court will make a ruling. This could accelerate the case's path all the way up to the Supreme Court. And Israeli military officials believe Iran will retaliate after a recent airstrike in Syria which killed 7 people. Recently, Biden reiterated his support for Israel's security. Reporter Deborah Pata has more. Take a look.
Looking towards the sky, Palestinians in Gaza never know whether the planes above carry the threat of death or the promise of life-saving aid. On the ground, they pray amidst the rubble and ruin, marking the end of Ramadan with the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Fitr. For this grandmother, it was a day of heartbreak, bidding farewell to her 3 grandchildren while their father cradled the body of his youngest son, killed in central Gaza. And for Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh, the conflict became personal, his 3 adult sons and 4 grandchildren taken out in a targeted Israeli airstrike yesterday. As the humanitarian crisis worsens, the wider the rift grows between the US and Israel. A red line for the Biden administration, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to invade Rafah, where more than half of Gaza's 2.3 million Palestinians are sheltering. Despite the US warning, this would be a mistake.
We also want to address the Iranian threat.
But no matter how deep that rift, when it comes to Iran, US support is clear. President Biden says they will do everything they can to protect Israel after Iran's threat to retaliate following last week's bombing of its consulate in Syria.
Our commitment to Israel's security against these threats from Iran and its proxies is ironclad. Let me say it again, ironclad.
Deborah Patta, CBS News, Tel Aviv, Israel.
And we'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
I'm Dule Hill. As a lifelong dancer, actor, and singer, the arts are what drive me.
Hey.
Art builds bridges.
You know, at some point, we're gonna have to dance.
Art creates change. Art is powerful.
Really trying to change the world with their gift, and you are clearly doing that.
Welcome back. I'm Austin Graham, and this is your Public Eye Sports Report. Starting off with the MLB, the Detroit Tigers are set to host a 4-game series against the Minnesota Twins. Detroit enters this series with a 1-2 home record along with a 7-4 overall record. The Tigers are a perfect 4-0 this season in games where they have not allowed a home run. Last season, the Twins posted an 87-75 record, which was good enough to claim the AL Central Division title. The Tigers currently have a 2.21 batting average and a 3.71 ERA. Thursday's game between the division rivals was postponed due to poor weather conditions. First pitch for tomorrow's game is set for 6:40 p.m. Bouncing over to the NBA, the Detroit Pistons are set to host the Chicago Bulls tonight, where they will look to snap a 6-game home losing streak. The Pistons enter the game with a 2-13 record against division opponents, while the Bulls are 6-9. Detroit is currently averaging 11.1 made three-pointers this season, while Chicago is averaging 11.5. The last time these two squads met was in February, which saw the Pistons come away with the win 105-95. Cade Cunningham led the way with 26 points, but the Detroit will be without their star guard as he's dealing with a knee injury. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. And anything's on the golf course, the Masters tournament has begun after a weather delay this morning. At around 10 a.m., the ceremonial first shots took place on the first hole with Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson, and Gary Player. This is the 6th year in a row that weather conditions have caused some sort of delay at the Masters. Delays commonly affect players with later start times as they're unlikely to finish their first rounds before dark. Players may have to return early Friday morning to complete them before heading out for their second rounds. Tournament officials said that high winds are expected over the course of the next day. However, the weather for the rest of the weekend is expected to be warm and dry, which should improve playing conditions. That's all I have for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, thank you very much for that sports update, Austin. Now I'm very excited to follow the Masters. Good luck, Jack Nicklaus. But Bianca, I've heard you've got another story for us. Would you like to share?
The Federal Women, Infants, and Children Program, or the WIC, is helping low-income mothers, babies, and young kids will soon emphasize more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. It will also provide a wider choice of foods from different cultures. The new rule is helping to make a permanent bump in monthly cash vouchers for fruits and vegetables. Shoppers also can add canned fish, fresh herbs, and lactose-free milk to their carts. They can also add quinoa, wild rice, and millet. Under the new rules, the fruits and vegetables vouchers in 2024 will provide $26 per month for kids ages 1 through 4, $47 per month for pregnant and postpartum mothers, and $52 for breastfeeding women.
Well, what a great program, and what a great way to end the show, too. That's a very nice and good thing to add. You did a little more research. How do you feel?
I think it's great. I mean, everybody needs support in any way they can get it, and I really appreciate that they're doing that for people like that. They need it so much.
Absolutely. You know, it's definitely a good program to add. I'm kind of sad and surprised it hasn't been implemented earlier, but it's good to have that emphasis on healthy food. But that's all the time we have left for our show today. I'm Liam Yule-Enjoy.
And I'm Bianca Kroll.
And this is Public Eye News. We'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.
Thanks for watching Public Eye News. You can subscribe to our YouTube, tune in to WNMU Channel 13 every weekday at 4, or follow our Instagram at NMU Penn to never miss a story.